Hi everybody, my name is Shannon. Welcome to my channel, Another Yarn. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. Hey guys, do you remember the other day I put together a poll? Yeah, it's two choices. I'm working on a shawl and I'm doing this gorgeous, my opinion, sunset color, which is just this golden orangish, one of my colors. Of course we know that. For the top, and then I've got the Metamorphosis, the Malabrigo little cakes of sock yarn. I have the corn snake, which is the reds in it, and goes from that golden to red. And then I've got Starry Night, which just goes from the golden with bits of white and then the black, and then it just goes all the way into the dark blue. And it was a choice to pick, and the comments, oh my gosh, the comments that I got every time I showed this color. Look how beautiful that looks. See, a shawl with this would go gorgeous with what I'm wearing, wouldn't it? Every time I did this in the comments, this was by far the clear winner in the verbal comments. So I decided I would go ahead and do a poll, an actual poll on my channel, and I did that. Oh, it was hands down. There was no doubt. There was a clear winner from the very first vote. I got well over 200 votes, and from the very first vote up until me filming this, over 200 votes, it was 2-1 Starry Night. So everyone got me all excited and worked up that I was going to use this, and I was going to do it anyway, and my husband's like, honey, you can't put a poll out there and ask everyone's opinion. Have a very, very clear winner and not go with what was chosen. Which doesn't break my heart anyway, because originally I got the gorgeous Starry Night color. Like, see, there you go. So here's my colors, right? So I had originally got the Starry Night color, and that's what I wanted to do. I had envisioned using this beautiful golden color right here. And in Malabrigo, they have lace, they have DK, but they don't have just plain fingering. So I doubled the lace. This is my lace. See, there we go. That's it. I used one full thing of, this is what I have left of my one full thing of the lace doubled. So that was my whole goal and my whole plan to do that. And then once I bought this one on local yarn store day, I was like, oh, that's beautiful. It is pretty. Oh my gosh, it is gorgeous. And then it started shifting. It's like, okay, all those comments got me thinking, all right, I could do this. It's lovely. It's lovely. It's just so pretty. And no, back to my original, which there's nothing wrong with. Hubby's like, well, you can make 2 of them. Yes, I could. Do we think that's going to happen? Maybe, because I do a lot of doubles, right? We've seen me do a lot of doubles. Anyway, I have started this. I have added some of, that's why the skein is not full, right? It's, there's my finger. There's my finger. So it's not a full skein because I have made some progress. Look at that. Look, there we go. So thrilled, absolutely thrilled. Look at that. Look at the colors. What I was concerned is because this has that white in it at the very front, that maybe it would look a little weird against that golden colored sunset, whatever. It doesn't. I can't put it out 100% flat because I'm doing short rows. So I don't have it to where it's, my needles are set to where I can just hold it lengthwise because, well, they're in there. My needles are in here. I have stitch markers. I don't want to lose stitches. No, don't lose stitches, but look at that. Look at that. So I have started and I am thrilled with this. I did I had to do some adjustments to make that lace double thick. I wanted it double thick compared to what the pattern had. And I'm really happy I did that because as you see, I set it down. As you see, I used all but this. So it's not like I'm wasting it or I'm trying to figure out another project. I used it up. That is spectacular. And then, I don't know how, I can't really spread it out. Like I said, I have it on the needles. I have it over here. And that's going to be so pretty. So it did start at the beginning where there was a lot of white and, it's going with that, very speckled printed animal print-ish kind of a thing with the colors. And I think it's starting to get darker into the golden. Now I don't have as much white. There's still white, but not as much of the white. Not like it was at the very beginning. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. Oh my gosh. And this is a crescent shaped shawl, and I'm thrilled. Whew, this thing is warm. Oh my gosh, that is warm. Oh, I'm toasty. I'm toasty now. This pup, I have to pull up the pattern. I've had multiple people tell me how to say the word, and yeah, I am sorry. No. Here we go. Pleiades. Pleiades, by Beth Kling. It is a paid for pattern, and look at that. Look how pretty that is. And you can see on that one, you've got just the one, thickness of that, the lace. I really wanted to use up, for one, I wanted to make my shawl, it's a crescent shawl, and I wanted to make it wider. Following this and getting gauge, we know I didn't do gauge, whatever. It's about an 8.5 inch wide scarf. It is a scarf. It is not a shawl. It looks like it would be a shawl, but it's not really. See, doesn't it look like it would be a shawl? Kind of like thick and everything and beautiful. It's not really. I've done it before. Years and years ago, closer to when the pattern first came out. It was one of those Dream in Color smooshy kits, Dream in Color yarn, and it came out in 2011. I don't remember what color I made mine in, but I do remember making it. And when I got to that 2x2 ribbing at the edge, my ribbing towards the edge, towards the bottom right there, was not as wide as that because I ran out of yarn. And looking at the comments, a lot of people ran out of yarn. It says it takes 450 yards. I ran out, right? I still had a usable piece. I don't remember what color I made. I don't remember who it got it, what happened to it. That was a lot of years ago. So that's why on this one, I really liked the idea of taking that lace doubled and, well, doubled the lace to make it more towards fingering weight. That's why I did that. And instead of just the one strip right there of the pattern, I made two because I wanted it to be wider, because I remembered it was more towards just a little shawl, and I wanted this cake to go down further than just the 400, because this is 440 yards. So I knew even if I made this single wide, and just followed the pattern exactly and just did this part in the golden and then finishing it off with here, I should end up with a larger scarf, right? Because I would end up having 440 yards of color. So I do want to go farther in on that ribbing. I think that's going to be spectacular. And we can see, I've got short rows. You can see this little bit of the color right here that I added in with the Starry Night. And you can see it's getting, here's my marker. So the way that this works is I'm doing short rows, and I'm going to like 9 stitches before the last short row, right? And that's why this little wedge is getting larger, and that's just making that field bigger. And once I get to where there's about 23 stitches between, let me pull this up, come on, don't make a mess, don't make it fall, between this marker right here and this marker right here, yes, there we go, there, that's happiness. Between these two markers, then it's time to do the ribbing, right? And then do the little rows and everything and do the ribbing on that. But here's my beautiful piece. I love it. I think that is spectacular. I'm going to get some wear out of this. It is stunning. I'm loving everything about it. And this right now is such easy knitting because it's garter stitch. So it's just knit. And what I do for that, because it says that, you go till 9 stitches before the last wrap and turn. Well, you can see a little bit, there's a little bit of a gap there. You can see there's a gap there, right? That's where I did the wrap and turn. Well, if you're on autopilot mode, you're not going to see that. So that's what the stitch marker's for. So what I do is I wrapped and turned here, all right? And that's this white one right here is my wrapped stitch. And then I counted my 9 stitches and I placed my marker. So when I come back to here, I know I take the marker off, I wrap this stitch right here, and I just knit back the 9 stitches, and there we go. And you know what? I didn't do that this time. Wow, look at that. I was on autopilot. I actually wrapped that stitch and forgot to put the marker in the right spot. So I'll have to pay attention to that. But what that does is it makes it a little bit easier. It makes sure that you potentially make less mistakes, like I just discovered that I did that. Yeah, yay. But it'll help you to recognize those, especially with this you know, variegated looking yarn. And then you're like, where's my wrap and turn? Where's that at? Did I miss it? Because you could bypass one and then go to the next one, and then your short rows aren't really in the right place. Now, if you did that once or twice, I don't think it's really going to make a difference. It's just not going to be that big of a deal. But if you're consistently doing that and you have no idea where you're at, it can make a difference. It will, right? You're going to end up with, I don't know what you're going to end up with. I don't know. But that's why I do that with the markers, and that is the potential of making it to where it's a little bit easier. And let's see what I've got down here. Little tips and tricks to try to make things easier and better. Like here, I wrapped, and there's my wrap and turn right here. And then I started knitting, and I put the marker right here at that 9 stitches. So when I come back to here, I know that I'm good and ready. And I made a mistake on the other side. That's okay. That is just fine. But I made a decision. Okay, you guys made the decision. It's okay. You made the decision 2-to-1. Very, very clear from the very, very get-go. You guys made the decision. Let me see. What does my little poll say right now as I am recording? Oh, I probably shouldn't do that. Do we get strikes for that? I have no idea. No clue. All right. So I'm going out to the little posty thing. Help me decide. I posted this 5 days ago. Help me decide which color to finish my crescent shawl. And it is 35% says the corn snake, the red color, gorgeous. And 65% says Starry Night with 237 votes. Right there it is. You can see the poll. It is a clear winner. And that's a good picture right there to really see what that lace spread out is and how beautiful that's going to be. So I pinned that out like I would on the regular blocking board. Didn't wet it or anything, but I did pin it down. That is stunning. So it's going to be a nice crescent. Oh, that's a good way to look at it. Look, I can't make it bigger. So we can see how that's crescenting, you know, it just has a nice curve to it. So right there on that very tip edge, we have very, very little of the Starry Night in the garter stitch. And then as it, you know, right here at this edge, very, very little. And then it gets bigger, it gets wider because I'm just doing those 9 stitches and everything, and then doing the short rows. So that's going to be spectacular. So that right there, the ribbing is going to be pretty close to that tip. So it's going to be stunning. Oh my gosh, it is going to be gorgeous. I am thrilled with doing this. It's working up so much faster than I was expecting, and I'm thrilled with it. I am absolutely thrilled. And I wanted to say thank you to everyone. Thank you so much for participating with my poll and interacting with me and engaging with me and helping me make a decision. My decision was final. At the very, very beginning, it was going to be the Starry Night until I brought home corn snake. And then, you know, with the reds and stuff, and it's just absolutely stunning. And yeah, so I do have more of, we know I have more of this color. I have more of this color. I have this in the fuzzy mohair version, and it's still lace. So I was curious if I did the same thing and did that with the fuzzy color, how that would work and block out, because the top would be fuzzed. I don't know. Just different ideas. Will I get to it? I don't know. I have a lot of ideas. If you didn't see, I did go to Joann yesterday and they had 50% off. I'm looking for a higher discount, but that didn't stop me from buying a whole bunch of stuff and things I didn't expect to purchase. I bought fabric. I bought a bunch of fabric. That's weird. I don't sew. I've sewn before, hand sewing. I don't normally sew, so that's just odd in my opinion. And I have lots of ideas for said fabric using that in crocheting, what have you. So that's another project I haven't even gotten to, but in my mind, there are so many projects like this. I could do it with the fuzzy yarn. I could do it with different colors, you know. Once this comes out and I'm able to wear it, how does it look being worn? There are a lot of beautiful shawls. We know this. There's a lot of gorgeous lace patterns, but do you actually wear them, or do you just have fun making them? I have a lot of fun making them, but I don't wear them a bunch. And that's my preference for higher potential of me actually wearing the piece is a crescent. I don't generally wear the triangles. They're gorgeous. but the crescent I'm more apt to wear, and that's why I'm looking at that type of a shape. But my mind just goes. There's so many beautiful things to watch and to create and to make and to, oh, let me change this thing. What's it going to look like? Let me little dabble over here. Let's see what happens there. Let's see what I do over here. And that's just where it goes. And it is so much fun to do these things. And if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about on the Joann's shopping trip and what I purchased and the ideas, definitely look at yesterday's video, because there are some spectacular ideas, and I know for a fact I have helped to spur other people on, and they are going to attempt to do the same exact thing that I was talking about. And if you do that, if you know what I'm talking about and you do that, I want to see pictures. Oh my gosh, I want to see pictures of just this fusion of crafts and creative ability. All right, well, I'm going to keep this one short because I am about dying in this. This thing is a lot warmer than it looks. Holy cow. And I'm going to go, yeah, this is warm. And I will talk to you guys later. You guys have a great day, night, evening, whatever it happens to be. And I will talk to you again later. Bye-bye.